Someone tweeted this earlier. It's from August 12th, 2021. From the United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of Texas. Young soldiers admit to transporting undocumented citizens. My stars and garters. You mean if you transport non-citizens, you are breaking the law? I got questions for the Biden administration, but more importantly, let me say this as clearly as I can to each and every one of you Border Patrol officers and law enforcement officials for the federal government who are taking orders from your higher ups telling you to transport non-citizens, illegal immigrants, to all those crew of Swift Air private airlines. I will not forget, nor will anyone who's watched this show, nor will any politician we petition. We will never forget that under our laws, you are committing crimes. And you think simply because it's ubiquitous, you will get away with it. I assure you, you will not. If you wear a badge and you are instructed to break the law and you break the law, we will not forget. This is from justice.gov, 2021. 2 military men stationed at Fort Hood have entered guilty pleas to conspiring to transport undocumented aliens within the United States, announced acting U.S. Attorney Jennifer B. Lowry. Now, how is it that 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, it is a criminal offense to plead guilty to if you're transporting undocumented aliens in this country? But now, how many law enforcement officials, government contractors, and all you employees of Swift Air are doing just this without a care in the world? I hope, I beg, and I pray that when Donald Trump is elected, he arrests each and every one of you because you are breaking the law. And simply because you all did it with your friends doesn't mean you get away with it. When I saw this, I was pissed.
I have no problem with any of the quote unquote destruction that Donald Trump is talking about. And in fact, I don't think that Donald Trump will go far enough if he actually does get elected.
People forget, even Obama, when he was president, deported hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of legal immigrants. Obama himself enforced that law.
He was the deporter in chief.
The phenomena we're seeing now with Joe Biden, with the porous border and taking the dollars that taxpayers give to the border security to use it to bring them in. This is actually a new phenomena, even for Democrats, even for Obama. And you can't really say, oh, I oppose this. They say, oh, you hate, they attack you, you hate this, you hate that. But Obama did it.
Yeah, because he used to understand that if you have taxes, you're asking for like taxes from a tax base. You have to have a closed system. You can't just open up to the world and then give to everybody. You can't. There's no way you're going to be able to foot that bill. It's ridiculous.
There was a CBP guy who pulled up in his truck to the razor wire in Texas and saw illegal immigrants trying to enter, and he said, "Turn around now." He's under investigation. They're getting him in trouble for it. He's doing his job. He's enforcing the law. That's a good man. And the Biden administration expects you to break the law. But I'm going to read this for you. They say these men face up to 10 years in prison and a possible $250,000 maximum fine. When I was in Chicago over Christmas, we had a shuttle driver bringing us to our, we were connecting to, what did we fly back on? We flew on American, maybe? I can't remember. And this shuttle bus driver said that they also did, they serviced private planes, jets. So they got word the Blackhawks were coming. Chicago Blackhawks, ooh, big hockey fans. And the 737 pulls up full of passengers. They pull their car up, open the forward cargo on the belly of the plane, 3 garbage bags. And they were like, what is this? And they load the garbage bags onto their car and they were like, they shrug. And then they found out the plane was transporting illegal immigrants into Chicago. I asked him, I was like, he said, they lied to us. They told us it was the Blackhawks. And I said, did they lie to you because you would not have served illegal immigrants had you known that's what they asked you to do? And he goes, yup. So the only way to get these crew members to actually to facilitate these planes is to trick them into doing it. Because that's a good guy. He was telling me I would not have done that if they didn't trick me. I say, you sir are a victim. They tricked you. But all these guys, they know what they're doing. And I beg and I pray, man. I want Donald Trump to get in. I don't think he'll do it because it's important to point out Trump is not a dictator. He never was and he won't be. Trump's going to go in there and he's going to say, look, we love our men and women in uniform. We're not going to hold it against them. We're going to go for the leadership. I get so many conservatives in here being like, I'm not going to blame the police for what they did. I'm going to blame the higher ups. And I'm like, oh no, if it were me, I'd go to each and every individual and I would say, sir, you can put on the chains on your ankles right now and I'll put you in the jumpsuit. You committed this crime. I don't care if a vision came to you in your sleep of a prophet telling you to commit the crime. I don't care if your mother told you to do it. I don't care if Joe Biden told you to do it. You broke the law. You broke the law. If Joe Biden says go rob a bank, you robbed a bank. But these people, I'm worried they'll get away with it. And then this is what happens. Are we supposed to forget? 10 years from now, we'll just forget that this happened. I hope not. All right, it's been a good show, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
What do you do when the president says to do something like that? I mean, is that...
Look, I'll give it the big ask. I don't expect Donald Trump to start locking up all of our law enforcement. We need law enforcement. But these people should have a reckoning of some sort. I think they should get their pension stripped from them or something like that. What will really end up happening is I will say something like Donald Trump must arrest anyone who committed these crimes. And then Trump will say, well, we're not going to do that too far, but we will do, and then we'll get something out of it.
The scary thing is, what if, his entire first term, for the whole 4 years, the FBI, or at least half the FBI, was actively working against him, subverting the president. Like, it's legitimate to fire all those people. And the idea that it's not legitimate to fire the people that are we should charge those people. We should investigate, look for the people that were actually trying to subvert the directives of the commander in chief, the Fed, the director of the Justice Department, the president's the executive. He's in charge of the whole thing.
Human smuggling. That's what the justice.gov website calls it. Human smuggling.
There's been I guess, even among some of the least likely to fight colleagues of mine that are Republicans, a push lately to not fund anything unless we get border enforcement and enforce our immigration laws. Because it is, that obvious to the American people. Even some Democrats have been breaking. We've had a few votes where on the spending bills we said this is contingent upon enforcing immigration laws, which is clearly not happening. And some Democrats have started to vote with us on this. So I hear what Tim's saying, obviously very passionate. American people see that too. But it isn't just President Biden. Frankly, the voters gave us a Republican House of Representatives, which has the power of the purse. And we fund this with your tax dollars. We don't have to do that.
Yeah.
This is a story that we covered quite a bit. We showed this to Marianne Williamson, October 20th, 2021. More migrant children being flown to New York, but what happens to them after they arrive? I hope that when Donald Trump gets elected, his attorney general will order an investigation who will find the pilots of these planes and put them in prison for 10 years. And I hope the pilots of these planes hear what I'm saying right now. And I hope every opportunity I get to speak to people who are seeking these positions, when I see them, whoever it may turn out to be, I will be saying to them, when you are in the White House, I want to see the people who flew these planes in shackles. I want to see them crying on television after a perp walk saying, I'm so sorry, I was trafficking children into this country illegally. They think because they work for a corporation, they're shielded. I want all of those people to know I will do everything in my power to advocate you spend your life behind bars. I'm so sick of the banality of evil, of people who work for these companies who facilitate crimes and think because Joe Biden is president and because the president is corrupt, you will get away with it. You're not just doing your job, you're breaking the law. And we're going to enforce the law the way the law was written. I'm just sick of it, man. It's plain as day right in front of us. We've covered these stories so many times. There was, who was it? There was some reps out of Tennessee. The Biden administration was taking illegal immigrants from the border, putting them on planes and flying them at 2 a.m. to Tennessee. Yeah. Well, if that's a crime that 2 men were pleading guilty to moving, transporting undocumented aliens, the Biden administration is ordering people to do it. That's too bad for you guys. You're the one. We got to lock them up. Lock them all up.
There should be massive investigations. Massive amounts of investigations. I truly believe that you can just have the FBI investigate the federal government and they'd be busy for a decade. They'd probably never get done because as they investigate, there's going to be more. The
FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, now means investigating the federal bureaus.
Right. Or we could just get rid of them. I mean, look, if you want to get rid of, cabinet level bureaucracies, everyone that watches the show a lot knows how I feel about that. Get them out of there. Fire people. Unemployment. But we never cut it.
It's the banality of evil, man. It's the people who sell their souls to the devil. It's the people who say, well, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, we can't live that way.
But not only that, part of this does fall on, and it doesn't fall on to the viewers of the show, but part of it does fall on to the people of America because people don't know anything about the way that our government works. So they can't even know what they should be voting for or what makes sense for them to be voting for. And I mean, I personally feel like people look at voting like praying. It's like, oh, if I go over there and I vote for this thing, then, hopefully I'll get it. But voting never turns out that way.
We got a super chat. Kako says, I'm a major U.S. airline pilot and was furious when I found out we had illegals on our flights. I hear you, but they don't tell us. Good sir, I am not speaking of you. You, I believe, are a good man. If you're an airline pilot and they tell you, routine flight, have a good day, and you are not party to what's going on, then I think the simple thing is we look at the flight manifests. I think law enforcement should ask, what happened? Tell us what happened. You say, I'm just an airline pilot. I had no idea what was going on. And we say, all right, man, thank you so much for helping assist and figuring out who was facilitating this stuff. And that's it. End of story. And then I'm specifically referring to, there are private airlines. So I don't, the guy told me in Chicago it was Swift Air, and a lot of people have said it's Swift Air. I don't know if that's true, it's whatever, but that's what the guy said. Yeah, there's no way a private pilot doesn't know what he's doing. When the plane is loaded up with nothing but illegal immigrants, all carrying those little baggies or whatever. Yeah, you can be like, guy, I'm not flying this plane. Are you nuts? That's illegal. I just pulled it up here from justice.gov. Let me just make sure it's very, very clear to each and every one of you, because we got at least one airline pilot here. If you transport undocumented aliens, you can go to prison for up to 10 years. So if you are sitting in that pilot seat and you see them boarding your plane and they don't have tickets with names on them because that's already been what's reported, oh boy, if you think you're not going to get in trouble for that, I got a bridge to sell you. You're going to have to get off and be like, I'm not flying a plane with people who don't have tickets. This is illegal.
That's pretty insane. Do they go through security and all that stuff? It's hard enough to get on the plane in the first place.
They had, the ticket said no name given, and they're all carrying these packets. And there are people, now if you're a gate agent, I'm sorry, dude. I worked for American Eagle Airlines, which is American Airlines Regional. I loaded planes. Did not work gate. Gate people are, they take your tickets and they scan them. If someone walks up to you with a ticket and there's no name on it, you should be like, I'm sorry, sir, you can't get on this plane.
I didn't know you could do that.
Right.
You can't. James O'Keefe tries to fly, and he's got 4 S's on his ticket, and he gets pulled aside for a random screening. But these illegal immigrants are being trafficked, and they have tickets with no names on them. And the gate agents are like, what do I care? I'm getting paid, baby. Well, I hope you get locked up too. Now, and look, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this to the pilot. You find out after the fact you're on a plane with illegal immigrants and you didn't know. I can respect you did not know. I'm not trying to be unreasonable. The gate agents know for a fact. The gate agents have to let them through. Yeah, all of them should go to jail.
What if you find out afterwards? That's like knowledge of a crime after the fact, right? Do you have to report that to somebody?
I don't know that you go to jail because you may have witnessed a crime you're unsure of and didn't report it. I mean, that'd be crazy. Like you see a guy leaving a bank with a burlap bag or whatever, and you're like, well, it's none of my business. And they're like, you should have reported. You're going to jail. And no, come on. Like, you don't know what's going on. So I'm not going to blame, in this instance, like a pilot who's sitting in his chair ready to take off, and he gets like, you have this X many passengers, and he goes, you got it. And then later on, they're like, there were illegal immigrants there. I go, I had no idea. I can respect that. Gate agents all know though. Illegal immigrant walks up with their packet and their ticket, and
obvious.
This is crazy.
You and I both know that gate agents are frequently entirely disinterested in what's going on around them. I mean, they're not particularly, they're not really paying attention. They're kind of just moving people through, like they
doing
don't
their jobs.
Yeah,
but even if they did report it, they reported the person reporting to was the person saying to do it anyway. Right. I mean, they should report it, but the person they're gonna ignore it. But at least they'll be on record. They reported it.
Right. You'd think you could go to TSA and be like, hey, TSA, blah blah blah, and TSA apparently would be like, oh, that's fine with us.
Yeah. Someone chatted. Tim fell off the fence. But I got to tell you guys, if the sides of the fence are we enforce our laws or we don't,
Yeah.
we got big problems.
It is. The fact that we have laws that we do and do not enforce, that's a massive problem. Like, if you don't know what to expect from the government, that puts everybody in a position where they're constantly anxious about what the government is going to do. And also, that's part of how it was possible for authoritarian regimes.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to come back to that.
Yeah, exactly.
It does,
To start
every time.
turning family members in, and that's what it was. It wasn't just
Or
the
everyone just
secret
lies
police.
to each other because no one actually knows what the truth is anymore.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.